Hello, everyone, and welcome to Inside the Newsroom. I'm Maddie Paul, and we're celebrating a happy Monday with this live cam coming from Mobridge. There was a train going by earlier, and I got really distracted by it, so hopefully no distractions from me today, because we're going to lock in for Inside the Newsroom. We bring you the trending stories of the KELOLAND area, and we bring on our newsroom staff members to talk about these trending stories. The same stories that you see every day on our newscasts and online at KELOLAND.com. So here on Inside the Newsroom, you get a really unique perspective from the reporters, the anchors, the photojournalists, and even the meteorologists who put all of these stories together for you. We're going to start right away with our first trending story in the KELOLAND area. In fact, this is more of a national trend. People across the nation continue to respond to Wednesday's shooting in Minneapolis when 37-year-old Renee Good was shot and killed by an ICE agent. According to the Department of Homeland Security, more than 2,000 immigration arrests have been made in Minnesota since the enforcement operation began at the beginning of December. And yesterday, hundreds of people lined a Sioux Falls street during an anti-ICE protest over the weekend. Sydney Hoyer heard from attendees with different viewpoints.
A chilly day in Sioux Falls didn't stop hundreds of people from coming out to protest ICE. The protest is part of a nationwide movement in response to the killing of 37-year-old Renee Good.
It's the least I can do to keep democracy intact for the United States of America.
Among the many anti-ICE protesters, some people stood in support of ICE.
I saw all these people who were opposing ICE and I saw just a couple people that were for ICE.
When it comes to last Wednesday's shooting, Anders believes the officer fired in self-defense.
It definitely was an unfortunate situation, but I think a lot of people have incorrect information on what actually happened.
Lund sees things from another perspective, sympathizing with Good's family.
It could have been my daughter. It could have been any one of us that opposes what ICE is doing.
Despite the circumstances, she's happy with the protest's turnout.
I'm a blue dot in a red state. This is great. 100 would be great. I think we have well over 100.
And both sides agree they're glad to be out today, speaking freely and peacefully.
That's one of the great things about America. You can have whatever opinion you want, as long as it's not inciting violence.
And Sydney Hoyer joins us at the digital desk to talk more about this story. Sydney, I saw from your package some people brought signs, some people dressed up. I think I even heard some singing in the background of the story. What was the atmosphere like when you arrived on the street in Sioux Falls?
You know, it was very peaceful, and that's what a lot of people pointed out, is that, yes, there were a lot of people there, and they had a lot of strong opinions, but everyone was very respectful of each other, very peaceful, and yeah, they just brought some things to show their support.
Did anything unexpected happen or anything that kind of surprised you as you were out there?
I guess I wasn't sure if there were going to be counter-protesters, but there were, and that was one of them that we talked to. There were maybe a dozen or so there. You saw some people with some flags out there as well, and so it was kind of interesting to be able to get both of their perspectives.
I agree. Why was it important for you to have both groups be a part of this story instead of just featuring one of the groups?
I think it's important just to show that even though this event was for people who were anti-ICE, there were still people out there who were pro-ICE and who also wanted to speak their mind and show their opinions. And so I think it's interesting to get both sides of the coin there.
You mentioned in the story that these gatherings are a part of a national trend of protests surrounding the shooting of Renee Good in Minneapolis. So what do you think is the importance of localizing something national like this? So especially like a story like this?
Yeah, so when I talked to the woman in this story, Shirley Lund, she talked about how, I asked her, this happened in Minneapolis, why is it important for people to protest here? Why do you feel like you need to protest here? And she mentioned Prairie Thunder and some of the other ICE-related operations here, and so Prairie Thunder is a South Dakota thing, and so I think that's a strong way to localize this.
What do you hope viewers take away from a story like this?
I think it's just interesting to be able to see that you can have two very opposing opinions, but also have just a very calm event. And, it lasted a little over an hour and everybody just went their separate ways and nothing happened.
Sydney, thank you so much for sharing all these details here at the Digital Desk. And everyone, stick around. We have more to get to on Inside the Newsroom when we come back after the break. And welcome back to Inside the Newsroom. Recently featured on Inside KELOLAND, 2 leaders from the Democratic Party and 2 leaders from the Republican Party were asked about expected topics and some of their priorities for the upcoming legislative session, which is starting tomorrow. Our digital reporter, Ray Yost, took a look at those answers from Inside KELOLAND and wrote her own KELOLAND.com original story. So, Ray, to start off, is this story that you had just a transcript of what took place on Inside KELOLAND, or did you create your own structure to all these lawmakers' answers?
Well, I think what you do is you start out, you treat it like the interview that it is, because Dan is interviewing these 4 lawmakers. So you're listening to the interviews and you're looking for maybe some commonalities in what they said as far as priorities or what their expectations may be for some topics in the legislature. So you're not using it as a transcript for chronological order or putting everything in there that they said verbatim. You treat it like the interview that it is, and again, look for those things that you can kind of tie together and then break out individually.
Your headline kind of sticks out to me. It delivers, in my opinion, the essential information and all those topics and priorities that the lawmakers had. In fact, it's called Top Lawmakers Property Tax, 0% to be a part of session. So why did you choose this to be your headline?
Well, I think you're correct in saying it encompasses in very short form a lot of what was discussed or a lot of what they contributed. Property tax, certainly, whatever you feel about whatever's the course that should be taken from the lawmakers think it's going to be a topic, a reform, whether it's relief, reform, or some changes. It's going to be a topic of discussion. 0% in the form of, 0%, not raises, but 0% increases for state employees, 0% for education. Again, those are going to be topics. So it really encompasses the bulk of what was discussed or what they contributed during the interviews.
A lot of these previews towards the legislative session, it's been something that you've been following with KELOLAND News for a while in your own stories. So when you were looking over the transcripts and the interview that was taking place for Inside KELOLAND, was there anything that really stood out to you from these lawmakers at this point?
Well, I think what stands out is, they know that the 0% increase for education is going to be a topic of discussion, for example. And I think they all sense that no matter if they're Republican or Democrat or where they stand on that, school districts and school officials are probably talking to them about, look, we can't deal with that, or it's going to be a struggle when you look at the rate of inflation. So I think that kind of stands out, that they know it's going to be a topic, and they realize that a certain part of their constituency is probably going to advocate for at least some increase. And then I think you look back, you look at the property tax. Again, no matter how they think it should be approached, they all know it's going to be a topic. And then prison and, just general things kind of stand out, that things that we kind of expect to have to be topics of discussion, because they have been in the news so much even from last session.
Your answer that you just gave kind of helps me prepare for what to expect for the upcoming legislative session, which again starts tomorrow, which leads me to my next question. Is there anything that you think our viewers should keep an eye on from KELOLAND News, or anything that you're most interested in seeing from this session?
I think each session is interesting. Obviously, we have topics that we, kind of know we're assigned to follow throughout this. But I would say the coverage is really going to be pretty extensive. I mean, if you look at Bob, our Capitol Bureau reporter, folks are going to be going out to the Capitol for different topics and different days. So, there's always going to be topics that come up like, oh, wow, this is we didn't expect this type of bill that we may be covering. So I would just say full coverage, pretty extensive coverage, and maybe look for a few of those unusual or odd bills that may come up, maybe something you don't see every session, or maybe something that came up 10 years ago that's coming back.
Wow. Well, Ray, thank you so much for giving us some expectations and a look inside your story on KELOLAND.com. And everyone, stick around for more on Inside the Newsroom. We're showing how one project shows the people behind homelessness in Sioux Falls. A recent Eye on KELOLAND story. Stay with us. And welcome back to Inside the Newsroom. When you drive past someone who is homeless, it's easy to forget that they have their own name, their own life, and their own story. Summer Roddershot introduced us to someone who is taking the time to learn those important stories in a recent Eye on KELOLAND story that aired on Sunday. Now, Summer, for context for some of our viewers watching right now, what makes an Eye on KELOLAND story so different from any other story that we see on broadcast?
So in Eye on KELOLAND, you usually get a little bit more time to set it up, to work on it. Eye on KELOLAND, you always submit your own ideas, and a lot of time they get approved because it needs to be something, you're sort of passionate about or something you're interested in. And so you get more time to work on it. The typical story is around a minute 15, a minute 30. I think my Eye on KELOLAND was like 3 minutes, but I've seen them much longer. I've seen them double 3 minutes. So it can be you're not as held to a timetable.
Yeah, that's exactly how I think about it too. So why did you want to devote eye time towards this story?
I think homelessness, and there's a lot of controversy around it. There's always two sides of the story. And I just thought a story like this was really interesting because, she's talking about sharing these people's stories. And I think that's one thing we don't realize. We always talk, the homeless population, whatever side of it you're on. But sort of giving a face and a name to those people, I think is something super interesting and something we need to be doing.
So how did you decide what kind of story angle you were going to take, especially because eyes cover so many topics, or it can, and it did in this one. So how did you decide a story angle, and did that angle change at any point?
I think I knew I wanted to talk a lot about Jackie and why she was writing. I was going to talk about why she was writing and then hopefully point people to actually reading her content. So I think that was sort of my angle. With Jordan Deffenbach, he was so passionate about what Jackie was doing, but he also was passionate just about homelessness in general. So I feel like he sort of shaped it in a way I didn't necessarily see it going. Not in a bad way at all, but sort of just giving some context outside of Jackie and her story. So I feel like he sort of widened that angle a little bit, but I knew I wanted to talk about Jackie and why she was doing what she was doing.
I'm glad that you brought up how much the interviews kind of shaped your story, because I thought a lot of the sound bites were really striking.
Yeah.
I don't know, the passion, that word that you used, it really came through with a lot of these interview answers for this story. Was that surprising for you?
Not necessarily surprising. I feel like a lot of people that are vocal on homelessness issues, they make their voices heard because they want to be able to help. So I sort of knew that there was a lot of passion behind it. Did I know there was that much passion? I feel like it did sort of surprise me a minute in the moment. I was like, oh, and I'm like, oh yeah, they're passionate about this. Of course, they're going to be speaking so passionately. So I think it took me by surprise a little bit, but at the same time, I wasn't surprised at all.
And speaking of surprises, was it nice to kind of have all this eye time to help you cover all the elements that you were able to include in the story? Like, how did that eye time help?
I think it helped because if I were to just be doing this in everyday story, all I would have been able to tell you essentially is that Jackie has this blog, the Substack that she's doing, and I would have been able maybe to grab one thought from somebody about why it's important. But in this being an I was able to talk about how she got into writing, why she thought this issue was important, how she started writing about the issue, what she wanted people to take away from it. So instead of it just being like a 1 or 2 point in a little story, I mean, that was only like 4 or 5 points I listed on my hand, and that's just what I can remember off the top of my head. So I was definitely be able to expand it and give you that more in-depth, more angles of the story than just 1 or 2 points.
Well, Summer, thank you so much for talking about this story here at the Digital Desk. And everyone, you can watch Summer's story tonight on KELOLAND Plus with Eye on KELOLAND Rewind. That airs at 6:30 only here on KELOLAND Plus. It's where we take a week's worth of Eye on KELOLAND stories and just put it in one spot for you to watch because, as you just saw from this segment, I didn't play that story at the beginning here. So make sure you watch that tonight at 6:30 only on KELOLAND Plus to catch Summer's story. And stay with us. We have more coming on Inside the Newsroom when we come back after the break. And welcome back to Inside the Newsroom. I have an Inside the Newsroom announcement, Scott, and you have to be a part of this because you're a part of this, okay?
Okay, I think I know where you're going, but go ahead,
I
please.
I don't think
Take
you know.
it. Take it.
Sure, I'll take this. So I come over to the digital desk. You're working like crazy. I don't think I've ever seen you work so hard before. You're going so fast working.
Get things done.
I know,
Boom,
yeah,
boom,
you were going
boom.
crazy with it. Just boom, 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 everything. But I look at the overhead light that we have here at the digital desk.
Yeah, it's so pretty.
It really makes us shine bright, right? I'm looking at the
Little too
remote. And I always yell at Scott Munt, viewers, because he has it set very low, and I have it set like outrageously
Probably
high.
where it should be.
Maybe. But okay, so Scott usually sets it like at level 1.
Yeah, so
Scott.
that it's on.
Scott, today you had it at level 2.
Did I?
Yes, I walk over
I
and
was
it's
in
at
a hurry.
2. I know. I was like, wow.
I had time
see?
for it to go from 14 to 1.
See, yeah, and I put it at 14.
I hit the
talking about
button.
that scale.
I just hit the button, kept it down, and went. As it ticked down to like 2, I guess. Like,
Yeah,
that's
it was
good
at
enough.
2. And I was like, "Ah, so you're changing 2026 and you're already a different man.
Well, you know, I always say dim lighting and makeup are the best things for me.
You
So
don't wear
that's why
makeup.
I turn. Yeah, I do.
Oh, yeah, you
could-
do. You
yeah.
told me this before. Wait, do you?
Maybe not as much. Hey,
Checking his
this is
hair.
who I am.
Scott and I were both
Right.
checking our hair out before we started recording just to make sure.
No amount of makeup's going to get this any better.
Oh,
so,
please, Scott Munt.
it's the way it is.
Oh, please. Can you guess what live cam this is?
Mowbridge.
Why are you so good at this?
That's
not-
that's part of my. Well, I gotta make sure I don't hit the. That's part of my weather world.
You try not to hit the microphone.
Yeah.
Do you think our viewers, question, do you think you would like it if I just started tapping the microphone? I'm not going to do it. I have like nails on because I finally put them on in like
You've
ASMR
always had
style.
nails on.
Well, no.
Did you take them off over the weekend? Say I don't need these anymore.
You just threw them off? Kind of. Because I've been moving around so much stuff because I got a new
Oh,
apartment.
we got the new place. How's that?
It's amazing. I love it.
Okay.
Except my internet's not working right now. So that's a whole other
no.
business I have to deal with. But I've been moving so much stuff. So I'm like, I've got to rip off these nails so that they don't get in the way of anything. But now that I'm going to be on air too for some newscasts, I was like, oh, let's get ready with some nails.
Yeah. For what newscasts?
Midday.
Yeah, that's right.
Midday.
Good for you.
No longer just the midday minute. It's now the midday newscast in the midday minute.
It's midday Maddie.
I know. I'm just trying to find more ways to be with Scott Munt.
Well,
this
it won't
is
be.
the next one.
Today we've had some scheduling conflicts happen,
Yes.
so it won't be today. It was supposed to be today.
I know, but that's okay. We'll wait.
We'll wait
fun with
until
Brian.
tomorrow.
I know.
Yeah,
So everyone,
BK today at midday.
BK. I know. I'm excited for that. But yeah, when it's gonna be you, powers that be will say get them off.
Should be yeah. Should
He
be
knows.
tomorrow, Tuesday, and Friday. No, not Friday. And then I think at the end of the at the end of the month, I'm all excited. At the end of the month, I think I might have like 4 of them: Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday.
See, I'm so
Not
excited.
that Wednesday. So
I'm excited because that means
I sent you the
you did, yeah. Here you go, viewers. Here's some Inside the Newsroom tips. We were so excited that I was like, tell me your schedule. And he did. And so I have it in my calendar now, each day that he's going to be doing midday. Same with Jalen. Jalen was very excited too. So I'm like, we're ready. We're prepared. We're stocked. But I'm excited because I feel like we'll have more story times. Is there a train going by?
There is a train
Oh my
going. I
gosh,
was
I
wondering
got
if
so
you would
distracted.
notice that.
I look behind me as if I can see it behind. I keep doing that. I always like check behind me.
It would have been great if you just go, oh yeah, there is a train behind
There's a
me.
train going by here. I was saying though before I got distracted, I'm excited for us to do newscasts together because I feel like we'll have more stories now for when we do our Inside the Newsroom segments together.
Oh boy,
Some
Man, we
real
could.
behind the scenes moments, or I don't even know what will
If
come out
any,
of
yeah,
our mouths.
or if anything happens, we'll have to save that video.
Oh, any video?
Well,
You mean?
it's entertaining.
If it's entertaining. What do you mean? This is
You know,
always entertaining.
Like
right?
this ring story that we did.
That was a lot of fun.
Was that Friday?
Yeah, I'm really glad you did your homework and found that video because that just made it.
I knew I had it. I just had to keep diving deeper and deeper in the archives.
Did Melanie say anything
And I
about the
found
story?
it.
Did you tell her that?
I told
brought
her
it up.
she was busy helping Morgan move this
Oh, yeah,
weekend.
that's
So
right.
now, you moved, and Morgan moved. And,
Everyone's moving.
yeah, so they were out. They were out of the house.
Mm-hmm.
I took that time to Would you believe we still have Christmas decor that's out?
Oh, really?
Took that time
You
to
keep it up until the end of January, though, don't you?
We have that pencil tree downstairs that we decorate as the seasons go.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
But it starts in October and it may last into probably March.
Have a Valentine's Day tree.
Yeah, I think so. I don't know where that decor is at, but that's up to Melanie.
St. Patrick's Day tree.
Oh, yeah, because her birthday's on St. Patrick's Day, so.
Really?
Oh, yeah. It's not only filled with shamrocks, I'm sure it's going to be filled with presents.
Pictures of Melanie?
Pictures
Those
of
types of
Melanie, right.
ornaments? Oh, that'd be amazing.
It's like Dan Santella's Christmas tree has a picture
that's
of me
right.
on top.
I know. I should bring a picture of that over here. I've been meaning to bring that on Inside the Newsroom.
That's a long train.
Yeah, I know. It keeps going. I once again look behind me.
Again. Yes, it is
So
a
if I can
long
really
train.
see what's going on back here. What's going on? But yeah. Oh, we're out of time, Scott Munt.
We are.
We're always out of time. Well, I'm excited to do midday with you tomorrow. You
be
have
tomorrow.
a really busy day today.
Yeah.
Everyone go watch Whether or Not. Scott was solo today, did a lot of work for that show. It's now on demand on KELOLAND Plus, or you have one more time to see it live at 1:30 on KELOLAND Plus. But I think that's all my announcements to make. What am I missing, Scott?
Have a happy Monday.
Yeah, happy Monday.
Yeah.
Thank you for watching, everyone. Until next time, have a great day. You know what to do.
Oh, okay, this is a win.